What is most important in having this day set apart as a day to delight and to appreciate. What is most important in having this day set apart as a day to delight and to appreciate. I sound good. I sound really, really good. What is most important in having this day set apart as a day to delight and to appreciate. I sound good. I sound really, really good. What is most important in having this day set apart as a day to delight and to appreciate. I try to get out of the IT business. They keep dragging me back in. So we begin with an old one that stirs our hearts, one that represents for us Shabbat. Page 10, Yedid Nefesh, heart's delight, source of mercy, draw your servant into your arms. I leap like a deer to stand in awe before you. Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha, Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Yedid Nefesh Rachaman, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha, Yarut Sabdecha, Kemo Haya, Yishtachave, El Mul Hadarecha, Yedid Nefesh Av Harachaman, Yedid Nefesh Av Harachaman, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha, Meshochav Lecha, Eretz Onecha.
Should also say, welcome, introduce Janet Christensen, our cantorial soloist, who's here with us. And Janet has brought us into this moment to observe Shabbat, but also to observe a moment of love, a moment of sweetness and goodness, as we have actually an ancient holiday beginning this evening, Tu B'Av, the ancient Jewish Valentine's Day. Did you know there was such a thing? We're going to celebrate it tonight. We'll continue with some verses from Song of Songs, the top of page 11, as we'll join together in this theme of love. My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved's, who browses among the lilies. Who is this that comes up from the desert in clouds of myrrh and frankincense? You have captured my heart, my sister, my bride. Awake, O north wind. Come, O south wind. We welcome this Shabbat, we welcome this special moment with candles and wine, as we welcome the Farbers to light our candles and to say our blessings over wine. The challah is my favorite part too. There we go. And if you flip it over onto the bottom, you got a really good strike pad there. We really want Shabbat. We're going to make it happen here. We're going to make it happen.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue on page 5. Let's rise for the blessing over wine.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen. And Jean and Sue, we wish you strength and lots of loving moments in your life. Shabbat shalom. Shkoach to you. We continue welcoming that Sabbath spirit in. The Sabbath bride, page 20, Lecha Dodi.
Please be seated.
Shkoach to you.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litzchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikerem nesucha, tov ma'aseh v'machashavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orek, umi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise and turn to welcome the bride into our sanctuary. Bo'i v'shalom.
Mori v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzochala, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, bo'i chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
בעלמא דברך חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עולמי עמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו
We rise for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד.
We continue with our prayer for creation in the middle of page 30. Together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam, deep is our love, everlasting love. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Elohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha Vidibarta bam Vishivtecha beveitecha Uvlechtecha baderech Uvshofbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha Vehayu latotafot beineinecha Uchtatam al mezuzot beitecha uvihisharecha lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Baruch atah Adonai. Haporeh sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, who spreads over your shelter of peace upon us, upon all we love, upon our Jerusalem and yours. We continue getting ready for our Amidah core prayer of our evening service. We will pray together from pages 46 through page 52 in our books, and then have the opportunity to complete the Amidah however we see fit. You can use the words of the prayer book, you can use the words of your heart, you can use whatever words occur to you that speak to you in this moment as you have your moment of prayer. And when you've completed your prayer, feel free to have a seat, continue with some quiet meditation. We will look forward to picking up the service on the other end. For now, we rise. We're on page 46. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, Le'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia. Mori Atal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Etalach Chayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukroshim b'chol yom yihalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
This moment in our service is one that has gained new importance and significance to us over the course of this last year and a half, where collectively we've all experienced the trauma of worrying about our health, worrying about getting sick, worrying about those we love and their health, and all the ways that they're affected, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually. And so we have this prayer of healing that takes on even greater significance in our lives as we couple together all of our thoughts for healing for a broken world, all of the individuals in our lives who we know are aware of or in need of healing. And as we, in doing so, create one great prayer for healing in the hope that that prayer can bring the healing which is so much needed to our world. Those online, we know you're with us. We hear you, we see you, your thoughts and those you care for, your loved ones online, and we are here to be your community for you. We think as well of those who are on the minds and thoughts of those joining us in our sanctuary tonight. If you'd like to share a name for healing, please feel free to do so now. For Joe. Brian. Lauren. For all those mentioned, the many more that go unmentioned, we pray for Refuah Shlema as we continue on page 253 with the Misha Baruch. Janet, we're so blessed to have you once again, to have your beautiful melodies and to lead us in prayer, and also to decorate our lobby. Those of you who are here would have noticed some special decorations drawing attention to this day of love, as I already mentioned, is happening, and you'll have to let Cindy know that we found a good use for her decorations again, because as is mentioned, tonight begins an ancient holiday, one that has minor observances in our time. We're rediscovering it here tonight, the ancient holiday of Tu B'Av, the Jewish Valentine's Day. And basically, during the period when the Second Temple stood, this ancient holiday was one that was dedicated and set aside in order to find matches for all of the unmarried women in the community, to be able to find them a proper match, a shidduch that could support them and give them that love and care that not only wives but husbands need as well. That day that's still here today. And it's notable that in our mind we place a very high priority on matchmaking. If you are someone who successfully creates a shidduch, who successfully creates a relationship between two people, between a couple, this is a great act. In fact, there's a midrash that speaks about it where a woman, matrona is what she called in the text, a matronly woman comes up and and asks the rabbi, berates the rabbi, says, you know, your God was very busy at the beginning, creating the world in 6 days, resting on the seventh day, but your God's not much in the world these days. Where's your God? What happened to your God? What happened? And the rabbi responded, well, God spends God's time since the creation of the world making matches between couples, finding ways to match this one with so-and-so and this one with so-and-so. And it's a very delicate matter because we know that relationships take work, but we also know the benefit of living our lives in relationship and community with those that we love. In the Talmud, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel describes that there was no happier day for the people of Israel than the 15th of Av, the 15th of this month, since on this day the daughters of Israel, they went out dressed in white and they danced in the vineyards. What were they saying during that time? Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel asks, young man, consider who you choose. Young woman, consider who you choose to be your spouse. And in modern Israel, this day has come with some renewal, as Israelis look to it as a proper Valentine's Day, not the same Valentine's Day, but our very own Tu B'Av. It's important to note as well the Hebrew calendar, that the space that this day falls into, not only is this said to be the most joyous or happiest day of the year, according to Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, there's some that would argue Simchat Torah as well, right? It has that word simcha, joy in it. But where it occurs on the calendar, being the 15th day of the month of Av, that places it only 6 days after what is known as the saddest day on our calendar, Tisha B'Av. Here's a point in the cycle that we experience every summer that for 3 weeks we've just observed 3 weeks of admonition, 3 weeks of challenge, 3 weeks de poranuta, as they're called in the Talmud. And following those 3 weeks, following Tisha B'Av, are 7 weeks de nechemta, of consolation, of comfort, of love and support, that brings us into the high holy days that conclude in the 7th week with Rosh Hashanah itself. And the rabbis saw God's role as we begin to intensify our self-focus, our cheshbon nefesh, our preparation in taking an account for all the things that occurred over the past year, as one that's greeted with God's consolation, that's greeted with God's support, and with the reminders of God's steadfast love for us. That in a personal reflection, what we discover is that, yes, doing this self-improvement work that we're called on each year to do as we approach the high holy days is the most difficult, but that God helps us to that point, that God helps us to reach that place, to be better people, to be more loving and more kind people in our lives. And all the more so we should have this day, because we should have these weeks, because our people have experienced plenty of difficulty throughout our time. Our people have experienced the hardship of being outsiders, the threats to their existence, their communities living on the fringe of legal status and the beneficence of whoever the local ruler was. Our people have been, sadly, the targets of pogroms, the Holocaust, of ways that we've been persecuted. And so I feel in this moment, as we bring back Tu B'Av, this holiday, it's a great reminder that we need to lead with love, and that love offers the opportunity for healing. It offers the opportunity to be made whole in so much difficulty. It offers the opportunity to say that God is with us, that God is there to comfort us and to help us. All the more so this week when we have in our Torah portion those very words that speak of God's love and concern for us. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is your God, Adonai is one. And it continues immediately with familiar words. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol meodecha. That we should love the eternal, our God, with all of our hearts, with all of our beings, with all of the physical substance that we have for ourselves in our world. That love guide our relationship not only with each other as we create community, but so too with the eternal. This brings us to an interesting point The former president of Hebrew Union College, Arnie Gluck, he wrote a very famous article describing the place of love and the role it plays in the Bible, and what he says. While we have so many different concepts for love in our contemporary English language, there's amorous love, there's fraternal love, there's the love that we have for our cappuccino or for whatever drink we enjoy. Wine, I know I see a wine lover here in the congregation. We should all have our drinks that we love. But as we talk about all these different ways of love, Rabbi Gluck points out to us that there's only one word for love in Hebrew. That word that's following the line Shema in the Torah, that word ahava. And what he points out to us is that ahava conveys so much more than romantic love, so much more than that feeling of butterflies in the stomach because you really, really like someone. But ahava conveys a sense of self-sacrifice and dedication. That to love someone is not only to feel that connection to them, but to dedicate oneself to them, to give of oneself to them, to provide for them, and to ensure their own security and their own support through life. This is a really important point, that when we live our lives in community, we are showing love for one another. When we live our lives in our families that are healthy and whole, and we let love take its place, that love is what gives protection and support to us all. We get meaning from our lives through the moments that we share with one another, that there's this balance. Hillel tells us, if I'm not for myself, who am I? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And so we play that balance between looking and desiring the things that we need in life and thinking about others. Thinking about others and giving to them and caring for them as a way of strengthening and magnifying the role that love has to play in our world. As we think about love, as we think about this day where we're looking not only for husbands for unmarried women or wives for unmarried men, or wives for unmarried women for that reason too. There's no reason we should set bounds on our love, right? This congregation here is one that embraces those of all different perspectives, to be guided by that love, to be helped by that love, to realize our place in the world, to be healed by that love, and through the experience of that love, which we turn to today and look for God to provide and strengthen us with, that we're guided with compassion, that we're guided in healing, and that we're guided in hope as we navigate life's challenges and rejoice in life's wonders. May this be God's will. Ken Yehi Ratzon. We'll go ahead and rise as we continue into the Siyum, the concluding section of our service. Aleinu, page 282. 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula leotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, Umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. We continue together at the top of page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. And may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
You may be seated. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So that when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts in this moment are dedicated to all those individuals who once were members of our congregation, friends or family of members of our congregation, those who have been a blessing to us through their lives and the dedication that they gave. And we think of them now. We as a congregation acknowledge we're in a period of Shiva, the week following the death of Bruce Allen Zach, the son-in-law of our member Bonnie Hennig, and we express our condolences to both Bonnie and her daughter Sarah on this great loss they experienced this week. We think as well of those whose deaths occurred more recently. We're in a period of Shloshim for them. Brian Trahey, for Norman Little, and for Marion Wollock. We further add the names of the following individuals whose yahrzeits occur this calendar week. They are Nathan Napo, Marilyn Leader, Harry Levine, Louis Levitz, J. Merwin Lustig, Helene Miller, Harry Milmet, Judy Nadelberg, Sarah Robbins, Bertha Salson, Miriam Lakin Seiden, Leo Silver, and Reuben Yellen. If there are others who those with us this evening are dedicating their mourner's cottage to, please feel free to add their name at this time. Please feel free to add their name into the chat as well so that we can be there to support you. Then, as is the custom in our congregation, we rise in support and solidarity of all those in mourning and all those observing yahrzeits. So we join together in the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich machutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'vizman kariv himru amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudisha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May God bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say, amen. Amen. You may be seated as we welcome First Vice President Jason Gold to share some announcements with us. Shabbat Shalom, Jason.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, everyone.
This is postponed to the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us, especially those who are in person. Nice to see all of you. We currently offer, let me take this off, sorry. We currently offer Shabbat services in person by reservation on Facebook Live and YouTube. Complete program and service information can be found in our weekly email, along with instructions for how to register to attend in person. Tomorrow's service is postponed to August 7th?
The Havdalah service.
The Havdalah service, August 7th.
rain, can't control the rain. I asked Paul to deliver, but he didn't,
Next week on Friday, July 30th, our service will begin at 6 p.m. Saturday, July 31st, our service will be at 11 a.m. So please don't come to Heritage Park tomorrow in Farmington Hills. It's been postponed. Get ready for a fun-filled Sunday morning when you can ride with the Rabbi. On Sunday, July 25th at 10 a.m., join Rabbi Gutmann on a bike ride. Grab your Schwinn. Grab your Schwinn. We will meet at the CVS on Orchard Lake Road and pick up the West Bloomfield Trail from that location. RSVP to the temple office. It's kind of late for that, I guess, but hopefully you'll be there. Come.
Join us anyway.
Save the date for an upcoming community-wide Green Shabbat, sponsored by Hazon Detroit. The event will take place on Friday, August 13th. Come celebrate community connection, sustainability, and the 2021 Hazan, Michigan Jewish Food Festival. Details to come, check your weekly email. Save the date for one of our absolute favorite events at Temple, S'more Shabbat. This will take place on Friday, August 20th at 6 p.m. Mark your calendars now. More details to follow soon. Join Rabbi Brent and Jill Gutmann for an unforgettable Israel experience this November 7th through 17th. This trip includes a unique culinary and interfaith experience, along with visits to many of Israel's most significant tourist attractions in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Masada, the Dead Sea, a visit to the mystical city of Sfat, and a 2-night stay at a lush Israeli kibbutz, Magan. If you are interested, please speak with Rabbi Gutmann or let Cheryl Spector know in our temple office as soon as possible. We are very happy that you have joined us this evening. We welcome your interest, questions, and contributions to helping our little temple with a big voice. We are Temple Kolami, the voice of my people. Shabbat Shalom.
He's like prepared. Shkoch to Jason. Jason, we wish you strength. So glad that you're with us tonight, and to Janet for a beautiful service. Don't want to go without schlepping some nachas over Shkoch to Jordan, running our stream team workstation here tonight, and to all of you joining us in person and online, making it an absolutely beautiful service, and such a real joy to be with you here at Temple Kol Amim. Well, more themes of love in the world, and bringing more compassion and peace. Olam Chesed Yibanein, our concluding song on your supplemental sheets.
Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, Vera, do you want to come do challah? You get it all to yourself. What do you think? Come on up. Come on up.
Let's rise for Hamotzi.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Good job.
Shabbat shalom.